Hey guys, welcome to another episode of The Completionist. For this episode, I've been tagged once again by Kevin, aka TheMegaManCave, and the question that he had posed to me and to other gamers as well is that he wanted to know what our 5 favorite games of all time were. Now for me, that's kind of a tough question for me to answer because I can't really come up with a valid top 5 or top 10 list because I have so many games that I've always wanted to play. And I'm sure once I get around to playing those games, it wouldn't surprise me if those games actually made my top 5 or top 10 list. But the one thing I can do for you, Kevin, is I could give you my 5 most enjoyable games. Now, these are 5 games that I have absolutely enjoyed the hell out of. I could see no fault in any of these games, and honestly, I could probably play just these 5 games forever just for the fact that I have enjoyed them so much. Now, the funny thing regarding these 5 games is that there is not a Mario title, Zelda title, or Final Fantasy title, or even a first-person shooter in the mix. But The Completionist, you've cut out all 4 major gaming food groups, and yeah, I know, but you know, I have a strange gaming taste to begin with. And as well, another funny thing about these 5 games is that even though the Super Nintendo is my favorite system of all time, there's not a Super Nintendo game with these 5 games as well. So anyway, let me tell you what my 5 most enjoyable games are. We have 2 Nintendo DS titles, we have 2 PS1 titles, and we have an N64 game. So Kevin, let me show you what those games are. Now the first game, for me, it would be safe to say that this is probably my favorite DS game of all time. And I doubt anything will beat it, but you never know. And that game is The World Ends With You. I absolutely adore everything about this game. I love the battle system, I love the story of this game, but most of all, I love the music. The music in this game is incredibly catchy and just plain awesome. The funny thing about this game is I didn't even know anything about this game. When I was working out west, I got a message from my best gaming friend, and he said, do you know anything about The World Ends With You? And I said, no, I've seen the box art, but it never really interests me that much. And he said, well, the next time you come home, get it. And I was kind of reluctant at first, but you know, my friend, he never really recommends to me a bad game. If he recommends a game to me, 95% of the time, it's always a great game. So I ended up getting my wife to go to the flea market to get it for me. And the moment I popped it into my DS, I couldn't put it down. I played it straight through, and I took the time to do everything in the game, and I just simply loved it. And to be honest, if any of you guys are DS owners, pick up this game, and I don't think you'll ever have a reason to be disappointed. I just love this game. I do hope if they do a sequel for this game, that they put 2-player mode, because that would be so much fun to actually have a friend and actually go through this game together. So you never know. Now for my second DS game, this was kind of a strange purchase, but this was another game that I couldn't put down. I just absolutely loved it. And that game is bangai-o Spirits. And it's so strange. Like, I knew there was a bangai-o game for the Dreamcast that I've always wanted to play, but obviously Dreamcast games can be pretty expensive. So I never ever had a chance to play the Dreamcast version of bangai-o. But when I first put in this game, I got easily frustrated because of how hard the game was and how quick it was to die. And just seeing that game over screen just over and over and over again, I just got really frustrated with it because I couldn't do any of the levels. But you know, I learned pretty quickly, and I just love all the missiles coming at you and just trying to find some way of actually barely scraping by the levels, and just with the sheer amount of missiles and bullets that are coming at you, And it was absolutely amazing. And even when I died, I just said, I'm gonna get that level next time, and then I would die again, and I'd say, oh no, you're not getting the better out of me. So, so I absolutely love that game. Now, we do have another bangai-o game coming out for the XBLA next year, so if you are a fan of the series, definitely get this game in 2011. Bangai-o, you can actually find it at EB Games. It is actually fairly cheap. I have seen it around for about 10 to 20 bucks, so definitely give that game a try. For now, we're on to the PS1 titles. And guys, I really don't need to explain anything that, obviously, you know, Xenogears is my favorite game of all time. The funny thing is that this game is not a perfect RPG by any means. The story is really confusing, and it suffers from a horribly paced second disc. And some of the dubbing in the second disc is horribly off, but that did not deter any of my experiences with this game. You know, I would like to go into more detail because there is actually a strange story of why this game is my favorite game of all time. But I'll save that for another time. But if I ever come up with a top 5 or top 10 game list, this game is number 1. Absolutely. Now for the second PS1 title, it is the only fighting game series I'm actually pretty good at. And it is my favorite fighting game of all time, and I owe one of my college friends for getting me into it. And I just absolutely love this game. I love all the characters, I love the music, I love the fighting engine in it, and that game is Rival Schools. The funny thing is when I first played this game, I wasn't very good at it, but I just loved everything that this game had to offer, and just the team-up attacks were simply amazing in this game, and I could never put it down. Like, when I used to play this game a lot in university, you know, I was playing with my friends for like 2 to 3 hours at a time, and just never getting bored with it, and it still remains to this day my favorite fighting game, even though I am a King of Fighters fan. But the Rival Schools series is pretty much my favorite fighting series. Project Justice for the Dreamcast is a good game, but sometimes the Dreamcast controller doesn't work with it really well. But with the original Rival Schools for the PS1, I just pretty much felt it was a flawless game. And for my final game, guys, now this is a game that's totally out in left field. I initially rented this game on a whim, just because there was nothing else to rent. And when I played it, I absolutely loved it. I loved everything about it. I loved the music, I just loved the puzzle elements and just all the destruction you could do. And the funny thing about this game is this game was made by Rare. So you're thinking Rare, Super N64, GoldenEye, Perfect Dark, Diddy Kong Racing, anything like that, but it's not any of those games. It's pretty much, I would consider, the black sheep of the N64 library in terms of Rare. And that game is Blastcore. It's safe to say for me that this is my number 1 N64 game of all time. I just love everything about this game. I love all the levels, I love the music. This game is always a challenge. And the thing is that this game actually has one of the hardest completionist challenges out there, and that is you need to pass every level and every bonus level with a platinum medal. And that is incredibly hard to do. Even I can't do it. I think I might have got maybe about a dozen platinum medals, and there's about 50 to 60 levels. But I just love the game. I love everything about it, and this is just one game I could see myself playing over and over again. So anyway, Kevin, I hope you like my responses for your tag video. So anyway, for you guys, I hope you give some of the games that I suggested a try. And above anything else, guys, I wish you a happy holiday, and take care. And I wish you nothing but the best.